Mario enemies. There's tons of them, and you think you know them all? Well, maybe, I can't prove you don't, but still, I believe I found a couple obscure enemies you probably forgot about. I made a similar list 2 weeks ago, and you guys seem to enjoy it. So well, Merry Christmas, here's my gift to you, a sequel. But you know what else is obscure? Today's sponsor, Dying Light. The popular title Dying Light is finally heading out to Switch, allowing you to play this amazing game however you best see fit. Yup, you can play it anywhere now. That looks weird. Explore a vast open world and roam the city while avoiding the infected that are all over the place. Sure, you can decide to grab a weapon and engage in combat, but my favorite part about Dying Light is the fact that you can jump and climb on pretty much anything and use parkour to avoid getting bitten by these ugly monsters. During the day, the infected are less active, but when night falls, I suggest you find a shelter, because you turn from a hunter to a prey real quick. Dying Light on Switch is on sale right now up until January 5th, so now's the perfect time to jump into it, and you can even get some rare weapons if you use my promo code by clicking the link in the description. Today, we'll be checking out 10 more enemies from the Mario universe that are often forgotten or simply ignored. It doesn't make them bad enemies, just forgettable. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and let's just jump into it. Goombas, Koopas, Chain Chomps, Babums, Thwomps, all of those classic enemies can be found in the first few levels of Super Mario 64. The thing is, as you play more and more levels, you'll stumble on some more obscure enemies. I'm thinking of Heave-Ho, Mr. I, heck, even the bullies are not often seen, but there's an enemy that's even more obscure, as you might not even know he was an enemy at all. As you jump in this blue goopy wall and reach Dire Ducks, usually what you do is to quickly swim through the cave, get to the submarine, and clear the stage. But if you take a moment to stop in the first section of the level, you'll soon see it's full of creatures peacefully swimming, including this very scary looking shark. His name is actually Sushi, and you may not remember him because he just swims around in circles. If you don't stand in his path, he'll actually never bother you, but if you touch him, well then, ouch. Turns out he also appeared in New Super Mario Bros. DS, but since he's only in one single level, I actually completely forgot he was a thing. I'm sorry, Sushi! While we're on the topic of fishes, this next entry is one that is unknown because it only appears in one single Mario game. In fact, maybe the thing doesn't even exist, considering Trouter comes from Super Mario Bros. 2, and this game ended up being a dream Mario made while sleeping. Anyways, as Mario 2 doesn't feature a single underwater level, Trouters are located in normal levels. These guys are actually often located in waterfalls and are actually used to get across them. You have to time your jumps just right to jump from one Trouter to the next, and that's pretty much all they're used for. So yeah, that's probably why they're obscure to me, because they could be easily replaced by a platform. So, in my last obscure enemies list, I talked about this floaty swimming piranha plant from Yoshi's Island. But as it turns out, there are even more obscure types of plants to talk about. This next one comes from the 3DS game Super Mario 3D Land. The gimmick of this game was that it was using the 3D screen of the Nintendo 3DS to create funny 3D puzzles and enemies. And one of the gimmicks it used was to spit 3D ink in your face, introducing Inky Piranha Plant. A plant that looks like a typical one, except it's all covered in black ink, and instead of trying to eat you or spitting fireballs at you, this species of plant aims for the Nintendo 3DS top screen and spits ink all over it. Dude, that's nasty! Now my screen is all dirty and I can't clean it! How annoying. Well, turns out you can just blow on your console to clear the ink, or just wait a couple seconds. I wish I knew that before buying a second 3DS to replace the old dirty one. Oh well. Alright, this next enemy is really obscure, because it hangs out in the dark. Get it? Okay, bad jokes aside, meet my friend Bulber, the light fish. This dude appears twice in the entire Mario series. Once in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and once in New Super Mario Bros. U. Basically, these two levels are very similar, being dark cave levels with tons of water. The only source of light you get are from the Bulbers, so in a way they're actually trying to be helpful, but if you touch them, you still get hurt, so they do count as enemies. I don't really know why they exist though, considering New Super Mario Bros. U also features the Jelly Beam enemy, which pretty much does exactly the same thing. But hey, who am I to judge the usefulness of a living creature, eh? The power-ups in the Super Mario Galaxy series are some of the best ones ever. I still remember the first time I visited Honey Hive Galaxy and turned into Bee Mario only to fly around. It was just so fun. And yet, while you're a bee, there are some enemies that want to attack you badly. And that's the case for a very obscure enemy that's located in the Honey Bloom Galaxy in Super Mario Galaxy 2. You see those weird green plants with a big spiky ball on top? Well, they're called bee eaters. And just as the name suggests, they want to eat bees. Uh-oh, being a bee ain't so fun anymore. To be honest, I've played Super Mario Galaxy 2 a lot of times, and I actually don't even remember seeing those enemies. I was probably focused on dodging those plants that try to eat you when you land on them and completely skipped over the bee eater. Or you know, maybe it's a bad enemy that sucks. Here comes my controversial pick for the list. You know, there's always one. The Goomba is very obscure. Okay, I'm kidding, that's not it. Well, it kinda is. You see, there are different types of Goombas in the Mario universe. There's the classic one, then there's the Goombrat, which is a Goomba with big eyes and no eyebrows, and then there's the Galoomba, which is similar yet different, as this one isn't defeated by jumping on it and you can actually throw it at other enemies. And then Super Mario Maker 2 decided that all of those Goombas variants were not enough. Goombrats are enemies you can place around, but if you decide to switch to the Super Mario World game theme, then all of a sudden they are replaced by a new species called the Goombud. Seriously, this is getting really confusing. Goombrat, Goombud, Goombro, Goom whatever? Why the need for a new Goomba species? How am I expected to tell them all apart? They all look similar. They're not obscure because we never see them, they're obscure because I never knew they were a new species of Goomba in the first place. Let's be honest, Super Mario Odyssey had some really weird looking enemies. I still can't get over the fact that you can fight a giant anime dragon in the same game where you can turn into a Goomba. And this next obscure enemy is weird, because there's only 3 of them in the whole game. Here's a still picture of the enemy. Does it ring a bell? Do you know what it is? How about now? Better, eh? Introducing UFO, a UFO looking enemy that has a purple top hat acting as its weak point. To get to the weak point though, you're going to have to wait for him to shoot some Goombas down and capture them to create an epic tower. But watch out for his razor bars though, cause they're really spiky and they could hurt you. Sometimes enemies are obscure because you're not even aware of their presence, and I do feel like this is the case for this next pick. As you are making your way through the sand planets in the Dusty Dune Galaxy, there are some yellow lasers that you have to avoid touching as they deal damage to you. Well, if you decide to look up and see what shoots those lasers, you'll see this big mechanical eye-like robot called the Eye Beamer. Funny how everyone remembers the lasers you have to avoid, but no one actually remembers what shoots the lasers. I never actually realized that these guys were there. Like, I remember Mr. Eye, everyone does, but I sure as heck don't recall the Eye Beamer. It's kind of the Mr. Eye of the future, and I think it deserves to be seen more. I like you, Eye Beamer, and I wish I paid attention to you earlier. I'm sorry about that. You know what? There's actually more enemies like the previous one that we've all encountered many times and pay no attention to. And this next one is right there. Yeah, this ball with discs rotating around it. That's an enemy. It's actually called Roto Disc, and it's very cool looking. It's just a flashing mirror-like disc that hurts you if it touches you. To clear the obstacle, just time it right, then you'll be all good. Roto Disc also appears in Super Mario Land, although this time they're actually called Kaitensuru Honno. They're a bit different, but still very dangerous. Oh, and you know what? Let's have another species right now. Here's Guruguri, the version from Mario Land 2. This one is kinda less cool, because it actually features a spike, making it more threatening, but not as cool as the flashing discs though. And is it just me, or are those discs looking like waffles? Whatever. If I talk about ghosts and the Mario universe, you'll probably think of the Boo, or maybe the ghost in Luigi's Mansion. That makes a lot of sense. But actually, there's another ghostly figure that's in a mainline 3D Mario game that you probably forgot about. Thanks to Super Mario 3D All-Stars, you can now play Super Mario Sunshine on the Nintendo Switch, and this will allow you to see this next obscure enemy. Well, seeing is a big word. You don't actually see the wind spirit, but you might get attacked by it. Located in a couple of courses, as you peacefully explore, you'll sometimes hear this wind noise that occurs for no reason whatsoever. But soon, you'll see what the noise was all about, as the wind spirit will spin around and charge at you. These dudes are actually aggressive. Like, what have I done to the wind to deserve such hate? Sure, you can try to spray water at them to scare them away, but they'll always find a way to come back. And that's pretty spooky. Well, there you go. Hopefully now you'll never forget about those enemies, but chances are you probably will. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching the video, enjoy your holidays, and spend time with your friends and family. Bye!